Yo, Still Mills, what's the diz, man? I'm fresh off the clockage. I'm about to head to the cribbage, man, and finish off this Texas Roadhouse that I had from last night, man. But peep game, man. We gotta get man. Before I even get into that, man, I finally got to watch the I Want to Dance with Somebody autobiopic on Whitney Houston, man. Rest in peace, bro. I was getting choked up watching that movie, man. That woman was a fucking just a goat, man. Just a personification of godliness, man. Just goddess, just a god body vocalist, man. I'm a connoisseur and appreciator of not just good music, but the skills level has to match that good music that you make. I've never been one of the niggas, he made good music. That's a second, that's an afterthought. That's secondary in comparison to skill. That pairs in comparison to skill. I gotta know what you can do. I love R&B and all that, man. So if you're a powerful vocalist, that will amplify me more to go and want to watch your music, or amplify the want to go and seek out your music. And if you're a dope rapper, an incredible lyricist, that's going to amplify the want for me to go and listen to your music, man. If you're not trying to be nice, if you ain't grow up singing in the church choir and you're a vocalist, I'm probably not gonna listen to you. That's just how that goes, man. That's always been a standard of mine, man. I feel like the church choir is equivalent to the cypher for rappers. You have to cultivate your skill set in them environments, otherwise I'm just not gonna be really interested in you. But that woman was I don't even really have the words to describe how incredible she was, man. Just angelic, man. Rest in peace to Whitney Houston, man, for real. But we got to talk about some shit that Showbiz said, and man, oh man, people are putting way too much stock into this Ryan Garcia versus Tank Davis fight. Showbiz said Canelo left the door open for the winner of them two to become the face of the sport. My thing is this: how can you become the face of the sport when what you're fighting for, you're not even fighting for anything? You don't lose nothing, you don't gain nothing. Neither one of these dudes are trying to be somebody's in the sport in the sense of legacy, man. They think they're above fighting for titles. They think they're above fighting adequate competition in the division that they campaign in, because just their celebrity alone is gonna attract the casual to watch their fight. And thus far it has, to a certain degree. Everybody wants to really, everybody really wants to gas Tank and his pay-per-view numbers, and you dig his marquee value within the sport, and yada yada yada. And he is Tank is not a dude who's pulling in millions of buys and shit like that. He's not, and he's not getting an opponent a significant bump in pay rate for 36 minutes of work. It's you're not trying to do that. It's just not happening, man. So I think it's asinine for anybody to say that you're the face of the sport, because that comes with being the face of the sport. That comes with it. Being able to give somebody a proper purse and having just attention, having traffic brung to your name when you throw a fight on. You can do good at the live gate, but shit, you got to think a live gate. All right, cool. Tank is he's well enough known to where somebody, niggas will come out in the city that they're in, that you're fighting in, to come and watch him fight. But is that enough to make motherfuckers be like, yo, I'm gonna buy this fight? No, it's gonna be promoted more in whatever city it is that they're going to than it is gonna be to the rest of the nation or the world. So, and he just doesn't have a big enough buzz to where somebody nationwide would be like, where he can bring in a solid 500,000 views. He doesn't have it like that. But he has it more so like that than Ryan Garcia. So how is it that the winner of these two is going to usurp Canelo Alvarez? I just don't get it, bro. I like how. Don't over exaggerate the importance of this fight and how just the size of this fight. It's not a seismic fight like that. It's not. It is not. Like, nigga, no, it's just not. And they don't. And to their credit, I mean, I think they do. Everybody wants the popularity, because with popularity comes a bigger person. But they're just not there because they're not being properly promoted. And a part of that think of it, if these cats was as talented as people believe them to be, just think about how much bigger they would be if they was fighting the caliber of fighters that Canelo Alvarez was fighting. They're not doing that, and that hurts you. You have to go through the gauntlet in order to gain those riches, bro. There's no getting around that. There's no way you can get around that. There's no way you can get around fighting the level of competition that you're fighting and expect a multi-million-dollar payday. Or Tank gets about a multi-million-dollar payday, but tens of $1 million a payday. You clearing 10 M's, you clearing 15, you clearing 20 on guarantees alone. You dig? That comes with being the face of the sport, and he's not doing that, because he's not fighting the competition that he should be fighting in order to obtain that. So how can you sit there and say that he's past Canelo Alvarez? It's just completely blasphemous to me, man. It makes no sense. It makes no sense, because had they, we don't know what the future holds. We don't know who they're gonna fight after this fight. But does the winner go on to fight the winner of Lomachenko and Haney? Does the winner go on to fight Stevenson? If Tank wins, does he at least fight Frank Martin? You know what I'm saying? They're both on, Ryan is he fights on the zone. If Ryan wins, does he fight Richardson Hitchens? These dudes are not in the business of trying to fight adequate competition, because in their heart of hearts, it's not about the belts. It's about who you beat. And who you beat simply means, how famous are you on Instagram? How famous are you on Twitter? How many people can retweet your tweets? How big of a following do you have on social media? As if they've convoluted that, their mind so much that, even the, PBC representatives was talking about promoting the fight on social media, and it's just like, yo, y'all dudes, it's just ridiculous to me, man. Everybody has a lot to say about the Canelo Alvarez fight, and I don't see how you can, considering his situation. It's just kind of goofy to me, bro. Like, all this shit is goofy. It's all game goofy. There's no way you can sit here and tell me that these dudes are they're positioning themselves to usurp Canelo Alvarez's celebrity and status in the game. Dude is in Super Bowl commercials. He's in the Creed 3 movie. These two are not doing nothing nowhere remotely close to that. Was Tank at the Super Bowl, but he was in like a wheelchair or whatever? Just publicity stunts and media antics, little shit like that, little circus act shit that don't necessarily translate to the ring and popularity. Get you on TMZ, but bro, whatever happened to doing your work in the ring and letting your talent rocket propel you into success? I was talking to one of the homies, man. I may have told y'all before, but I feel like back in the 90s, where it was a lot more pure to be talented, talent, and anything post 90s or pre 90s and maybe early 2000s, it was a lot more pure, because it was a lot more respect for people's talent. Like, you didn't get to a certain level of stature, celebrity wise, if you avoided talent. It's literally chicks being hoes who are talented, and I'm not even talking about porn stars. You dig? There's no reason why someone like Amber Harris should be like, what are you getting booked for? You're not a video vixen. Like, what exactly are you getting booked for? Brittany Rayner, as beautiful as she is, why, bro? Like, you're not really, like, no, dude. You are getting recognized for being a gold digger. There was no lane for that years ago. Not to this degree. But now, due to social media, we have that, it's a lane. They've created a lane for that. And it's just like, yo, you dig? On one hand, you're like, all right, cool, get your choke. But on the other hand, it really taints the people who are talented within their respective sports or respective profession. And it takes the draw away from them, hence taking money out of their pocket. And it also hurts that these celebrities participate in that same bullshit. So when you have somebody like Tank, who's, they're talking just as much about what he wore to the press conference than the actual press conference. Like, Jesus Christ, dude, what the fuck? It's just a lot of gang goofy shit that goes on, and just with these celebrities and shit, man, and they get caught up in this longing to go viral and shit, and it's like, yo, man, just talent, it's just not as precious and deified and respected as it was once back in the day. Everybody talks greasy about Marilyn Monroe. She was at least an actress. She was a host. She was an actress as well. Like, what are we doing? So when you look at somebody like Tank Davis, when they do all these little goofy shit, the goofy shit that they do, other than allowing their talent to get them into a position where they could possibly usurp Canelo Alvarez's celebrity and stature and marquee value and, just his position in the sport, it's like, yo, that shit isn't necessary, bro. Like, because they allow these people who come from these social media spaces. I don't know how it is that you hear a few thousand people or whatever say that shit, you just kind of lean towards that, like, oh, hell yeah, I made it. It doesn't cost anything to follow somebody on Instagram or Twitter or Facebook. It doesn't cost nothing. It costs literally nothing. It's as simple as you clicking the follow button. Nothing more than that. So how is it that somebody like Tank, and Ryan Garcia can possibly come to beat that? It's just ridiculous to me, man, that this is even being a conversation, man. I just think, people really need to watch what they put out on these algorithms, man, because you are eventually going to look goofy. You're eventually going to look goofy. They talking about resale tickets for the for the Tank and Ryan fight. You dig? That's telling me, what niggas bought them tickets. Motherfuckers bought, like, I don't even know. I ain't even gonna go into all that. They sold out. We gonna leave that at that. But Canelo is about, there's 60,000 people who can fit into that stadium in Jalisco. If he sells out 60,000 seats for that fight, that right there is something like that is gonna make this conversation, this whole arguing point, ridiculous. Like, bro, just call the shit straight, call it down the middle. Yeah, and I use, Showbiz is a dude who, whose views and analysis is someone that I genuinely respect, because I don't think he does the clout chasing. I honestly don't. There's a lot of people banging on him behind this comment. I don't think he's no clout chasing ass nigga. I honestly don't. I just think he's caught up in the moment. He's caught up in the moment. Oh, they get big money over here, nigga. On Jones Street, nigga. This shit look like Brooklyn, New York, or Harlem, New York in the 90s. Over here. Gets money over here where I live at. I ain't been down this block in some years though. But nah, man, I don't think he's a clout chaser. I honestly don't. I do not. But I just think with him, I just think people get caught up in the moment, and they say some shit that you'll say it in the moment, but when you go back home and you analyze it, you sit back and you think on it, you realize yeah, I was burnt the fuck out for saying that shit, because there's no way you can, there's no justification for that. There's no factual basis that will support that theory. There's none that you can possibly say that would say, yo, man, well, he has a point right here, because he doesn't. These two niggas are fighting, and their celebrity combined is enough to get people to say, to sell out all of those tickets in the first day. Tank never had it like that. Fighting Mario Barrios, he never had it like that. Fighting Rolly Romero, fighting Isaac Cruz, fighting Oscar, not Oscar, but Leo Santa Cruz, fighting did I say Barrios, Hector Garcia. He's had none of that. He's never had it like that, like ever. And that's okay, because most fighters don't. Tank is he's a lot more marketable than most fighters, just on the premise of him being being a pupil of Floyd Mayweather, and Floyd really pushing him. But Floyd's ability to promote other fighters has just been putrid. It's proven through Tank, because Tank he's not doing massive amounts. He's not doing hella pay-per-view numbers like that. So I'm just saying, man, you end up looking game goofy when you run with these narratives. It makes no sense what you're saying. There's nothing there, and Canelo didn't leave a door open when it comes to him. Him being passed up as the face of boxing. He had an injury his last fight. He didn't fight smart. He thought he was foolish enough. He was foolish enough to believe that he can go in there and knock out Golovkin, and he was wrong. He was wrong. Golovkin looked like a shell of himself, but his chin is still proven. And Canelo just so happened to be injured. But even if he was at 100%, history shows you're more than likely not going to knock out Golovkin, because he's never even been dropped before. So I'm just saying, man, let's pump the brakes or whatever. If he looks the way he looked, if he looks the way that he looked, if he looks the way that he looked against fighting Golovkin in front of John Ryder, now that's a completely different argument. Now we can entertain that argument. But in the now, nah. Let's pump the brakes and stop living in the moment. Because a lot of times you're wrong. It's 2 left feet. So, yeah, that's pretty much all I got to say about it, man. Tank and Ryan ain't in no position to usurp no Canelo Alvarez as a celebrity, as the face of boxing. It's not even remotely close. Neither of them dudes have any intention on doing anything as big and as spectacular as Canelo has been doing for the past, I don't know how many years, after they fight each other. Stop the bullshit, man. Doses.